Yo guys, welcome back to Fishing Park and welcome to a new series because we're gonna do outdoor cooking. So I'm starting this video in the woods because we are collecting chestnuts today. These things, because we're gonna do catch and cook. Yeah, so we're gonna have some fish with some freshly baked chestnuts, which we're gonna cook outside with some nice zander maybe. And I'm gonna get collecting now. Hopefully none of these things falls on my head because they are quite spiky and I wouldn't fancy that. I should have brought some gloves. I only brought a knife, I'm an idiot. Ouch. So, for those of you who don't know what these things are, there are two types of chestnuts and they both come in these spiky little packages, but you can only eat one of those types, and that's the even more spiky one, unfortunately. But they are quite tasty and they look like that. So most of the time there are 2 or 3 in these little spiky things, but mostly there's only one that is really usable. So if you're collecting chestnuts, make sure that they have this little thingy on the top, because those are the edible ones. The other ones are not edible. Don't eat those. Only eat these. The other ones also have other spikes. Not so many spikes, but smaller ones and thicker ones. And they are not so stingy, so you can access them easier. But these are the ones you want to eat. So watch out for that. The other ones really aren't edible. So I got one now. Gloves really would have helped me. By the way, don't walk around with your knife in the hand like I do. You might trip and knife yourself. You can also use your feet to open those things. Just tuck them between your feet and twist them open. That's not quite ripe yet. You see that white spot here? They always got this one. But this should actually be all that brown color. So they could have used a little bit more time to ripen properly. But if you bake them, that's alright. So I think I have enough now. I had actually burned so many. Maybe it still is too early in the season. I hope there are still some left on the trees that the wind didn't blow down, so they can grow a bit longer and I can come back here another time. So unfortunately I didn't catch a fish. Well, I brought something else though, because first of all, I'm gonna redeem myself for last time. I'm gonna have a coffee, but what we're actually cooking is pork steaks. I've brought a nice piece of pork and we're gonna cook it here, but today I have brought my Trangia cooker, not the Hobo stove, so no disaster this time. And the first thing we're gonna do in here is bake the chestnuts that we collected. So of course I've also brought the chestnuts. They are already in the pot right here. The thing is, you have to cut them. You have to make a little cut along the side of the chestnut, otherwise it's going to explode when you bake it. So we're going to do that first, but while we're doing that, I'm going to cook some water and have some coffee. So let's build this thing up. I've brought the bigger one because if I use the pot or the pan on the smaller one, it will cover the output completely, so it just won't work. There won't be any fire coming out hitting this thing. It's just gonna extinguish it basically. So I should have brought this last time to extinguish it. Well, anyway, brought the cooker again. I hope it's not gonna rain. This is just the normal Trangia thing, the aluminum version, but I have brought another pot and I've got myself the non-sticky pan. The reason is I don't like aluminum, or let's rather say I don't like unprocessed aluminum to cook with, because it's so soft that you actually consume a lot of aluminum if you use these things directly. So have some hard anodized aluminum. That stuff's way better. It doesn't scrape off that easily. And the non-sticky pan, just because I hate using normal pans. It's just so much easier if you got that coating, especially when you're outdoors and you don't have really the stuff to clean them properly. It's just a pain. So I've brought some spirit because I used up everything last time. We're gonna refuel it. I also brought the grate again. I know, but today I'm gonna handle it properly, I promise. So I'm putting the grate in here because the pot wouldn't fit otherwise. So I'm using the grate, the grate. I need to lighten it first. So we're gonna boil some water for the coffee now. I came well prepared this time. I brought my outdoor cooking kit here. Just a little pouch with all the stuff that I need most of the time. And I brought my spork, so I'm not going to use my knife to steer this time. Great success! Yeah. What else did I bring? A cutting board, a wooden one, and I also brought a plastic one because we're going to cut meat as well, and I really don't like cutting meat or fish or anything with a high protein count on the same board that I use for other cutting or even for eating. The reason just is salmonella and microorganisms. What we're going to do now is make a little slit in the chestnuts, just here. Doesn't have to be deep. It's just so the air can escape while you're baking them. Otherwise you're gonna have a popcorny effect, and you don't want that. I just saw this one has a worm, so I'm gonna throw that away. You're not gonna want to eat that. Well, except if you're Bear Grylls, then you're fine. But I'm not, so this is nature, right? Back to nature. When you do it like that, make sure that your knife won't get any further than this, so your movement range is limited, so you can't really cut into your thumb, especially if you're using a sharp knife. Make sure about that. 2 more. I've also brought some spring onions, so we're gonna cut those. Throw all this mushy stuff away. We don't need that much. So one thing I always recommend you to bring is a garbage bag, or rather bring even 2 garbage bags. One for your garbage and one for all your cooking gear. So when you're outside and you're done cooking, you can just wipe everything off with a paper tissue and then put it in the garbage bag and give it a proper cleaning when you're back home. That way it's not going to dirty up all your gear and your bag. So the water is cooking. I'm going to aim properly. And steer. Because we got a spoon. Alrighty. So the way we're going to bake the chestnuts now is just put them into the pot and basically use the pot as an oven. Put the lid on and just shake them through every once in a while so they don't burn. And in the meantime, we're going to process all the other stuff that we need, which isn't much today because we're starting slow. So the reason why I'm actually doing all this is when I'm outside fishing and I'm staying at the same place for quite a while, then I'd like to have some food every now and then. And what I'm showing you now is a really easy thing that I like to do, and it's low carb and it's really healthy and it's got a lot of proteins and it's quick and easy, so you guys have to shake. You can do that outdoors as well, just the way I did it, and have a nice meal while you're fishing. So let's get cutting. The chestnuts are fine. So we got space and a proper knife and meat. So we're just going to cut steaks out of this. Sit down. This, by the way, is just some pork back meat. So it's the same kind of meat that roast beef is made of, just from the pig. We're going to slice it down like that, not too thick, because we're working with a lot of heat here and we can't really change much about the temperature, so we need them nice and thin so they don't burn. 5 little slices, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna put some oil into the pan. I'm using olive oil here, not for a particular reason, just because the store only had the little flasks with olive oil. But that's fine, I like olive oil. So now I'm gonna get out the grate. Without burning me this time. Awesome! I'll put it on the ground for now because it's really hot. Don't be greedy with the oil. Use a lot. It's alright. Put the thickest slice in the middle. Drape the other ones around it. Just like that. So we got the whole pan filled here. Now actually I put the thinnest part in the middle, which is kind of stupid. And the opposite from what I said. So now we're fine. And we can clean up a bit. So while the meat is frying, I'm going to show you how to eat those things now. Should be really easy, just peel off the shell and what you're left with is just the bare chestnut. Always turn your meat in time, don't let it burn. You don't want to have burnt meat, right? So watch out for it, because it can burn really quickly when you're cooking on open fire or on gas fire if you want. So keep that in mind. And now we're going to season the meat. I always bring a little plastic bag with seasoning. A little dirty here. I'm a mess outside. My main seasoning will be this, which I carry in a little film box. For the kids out there, that's what we used to do photography with. Look at how easy I did that. I am a professional. Well, at least I used to be. So what I've put into this seasoning is mostly salt, paprika, pepper, a bit of sugar, onion, garlic, a bit of curry. Maybe I'll make a video about this. It's got a round taste. You can use it for many things, but especially for meat. So we're just gonna put it on top of the meat like that. That's how it looks now. We're almost done. Just drape the meat nicely onto the plate for your eye. Sprinkle the spring onions on top. not on the ground. Let's get a thumbnail of this. Let's eat this. So put it in your mouth and eat it. Meat. So there you go, guys. First video of the new series, outdoor cooking. I hope you liked it. I did. I really did. I like cooking. I like being outdoors. So write me in the comments if you like this video. You can expect more of this to come. Also on the water, not just here on the outside somewhere. I'm not gonna say where I am. But write in the comments if you like this new series, maybe what you want to see me to cook. I'm gonna do that. Maybe, if it's not too fancy. If you liked this video and you watched it till the end, it would be really nice if you subscribed and if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss any videos anymore, click on the little bell. And that's it for the video. See you guys. Bye bye.